Hi everybody, this is Dan Talks Sense, and today we're doing a full review of a fragrance from the PENHALIGONS Portrait collection. It's called Roaring Radcliff. In today's review I'm going to give you an idea of its performance and projection and make a conclusion at the end on whether it lives up to its hefty price tag. If you want to know more about this fragrance, then please stay tuned. Welcome back. Now if you're dropping into my channel for the first time, my name's Dan. I welcome you to my channel. I've been running this channel for about a year now and I'm really enjoying the journey, and if you like the content you see today, then I kindly ask that you hit that subscribe button down below, as there'll be more content like this on the way. Now going back to this fragrance, I've been wanting to get my hands on a PENHALIGONS Portrait fragrance for a long time. I will post some pictures shortly in the video of when I first experienced PENHALIGONS in London. I was actually on a work trip. I work in a college and I was on a work trip, and we went into PENHALIGONS, me and my colleagues, to smell the fragrances, and I instantly fell in love with the fragrances. But one thing I did that did really impress me was the presentation of the bottles. I mean, this is quite magnificent. It's got a lion as the cap. My work colleague Tony said that you could actually take that cap and put it on a walking stick, and that'd be pretty cool. And I thought, yeah, he's right. So after smelling the fragrances for the first time and looking at the bottles, I always wanted to get a portraits collection, one of the bottles in my collection. But the price tag is pretty hefty, and I will post that on the screen, and just to show you how much this will cost for a bottle of one of their portraits collection. I'm at the stage in my fragrance collecting that I'm not quite there to be spending 200, 250 on a bottle. What I do tend to do is go for partials. Now if I show you how much juice is left in there, I think there's about 30 mils, and I think I spent about 40 quid on this. This was in a fragrance group. There's one called Fragcom UK. There's one called Certified Scents as well, UK. There's Frag Heads. They're all UK based groups. But wherever you are around the world, you'll find fragrance groups. I've seen one in the Philippines. I'm part of Fragcom Bangladesh. There's Emporium of Scents in America, Max 40's group. So wherever you are, there's these groups, and they're really handy if you're a fragrance enthusiast. So you just want to smell samples and partials and these fragrances. It's going to save you a lot of money, but you can still experience them, and that is more than enough juice to experience the fragrance. And I'm lucky enough to have the bottle, which I can add to my collection. But the most important thing on why you've logged into this this review is to hear somebody's thoughts on the fragrance, and it might help you make that decision on whether you go out and buy the fragrance. Now what I would always say is to sample fragrances first, because we all interpret and experience fragrances in different ways, but I wanted to give you an honest account of how I feel when wearing this fragrance today and what my thoughts are. I am going to review the price and make a conclusion on whether I think it's worth it, because I do think that's important. And the other two important things that people will ask about is projection and performance of a fragrance. So what I want to do is give you my first impressions of the fragrance, let you know what I think with first spray. So on first spray, guys, what I get is kind of like an aniseed smell, like what you'd get with sweets. I don't know when you was a child and you had those aniseed balls, but that's what I pick up when I first spray it on. It's not a bad smell. It actually smells like quite refreshing, quite nice. And what it does remind me of, guys, with PENHALIGONS is if you was a rich person in Victorian times randomly, like if you had loads of wealth in Victorian times and you could afford to wear perfumes, because that would be a major luxury in those times. Even though this is a modern line, this was released in 2016. The perfumer for this was Daphne Bouguet, and I hope I've said that right. But I was reading up on Daphne Bouguet, and she's got a good resume in terms of perfume releases. She did a number of the Jean Paul Gaultier classic female fragrances. She did Scandal, she did Le Labo, and the Bergamot 22 fragrance. Quite a number of quite well-known and successful fragrance releases. So she's got a good resume. She did some more from the Portraits collection as well, which I was looking at. So first impressions, and I do really like the fragrance. it's just got that aniseed sort of spicy side to it. Now on the notes, and the thing that also attracted me to its fragrance is that one of the notes was vanilla, and people said it gave them a similar vibe to tobacco vanille. Now I haven't picked up the tobacco vanille vibe just yet, but if I do, I will tell you when I get further on in the video. So what I'm going to do is show you a close-up of the bottle, do a bit of a note breakdown, show you a few snaps of the fragrance, and then I'm going to conclude the video after so many hours and tell you how it's performed and how it projects on my skin, and if the scent has changed in any way. So if you're interested, then stay with me. So guys, we'll do a quick look at the presentation, and as you see, that beautiful lion cap, it's so nice. The juice in there, really dark and lovely. Bit disappointed the sticker's peeling off, but I'll super glue that on. Superb. Now according to Fragrantica, the main notes in this one, you have some rum, bergamot and tarragon in the top. In the mid you have some tobacco, ginger and rose. In the base you have honey, beeswax, cinnamon, tonka bean, amberwood and leather. This one got a 4.37 rating out of 5 with 332 votes. It does remind me of like that Victorian sort of feeling of wealth, and in the description it says a bit of a bad boy character carrying the tobacco with them and some gingerbread. You know, you can imagine somebody smoking a cigar, drinking rum and carrying some gingerbread with some nice spices. Now the tarragon note in this is really nice actually. It's like a sprinkle of tarragon, like seasoning on the perfume, that just gives it that little bit of different edge to it. It's a nice piped tobacco, like a nice honeyed piped tobacco that you smell, that's comforting and really enjoyable to smell. The cinnamon in this is really good in the base. And then you got that rum note in the top that just gives it an extra little lift, a little kick to it. I honestly, this is something that I'm really pleased that I bought. It's really expensive in terms of, for me, I wouldn't go out and buy a full bottle, and if I'm making a conclusion, I personally wouldn't buy a full bottle myself, but I can understand why somebody would, because it made me think that with fragrances, I like them to be in your face and beastly. I want people to smell me. But this kind of changed my perspective on fragrances, where this is a type of fragrance where if you smell a whiff of it on somebody, you would want to go in closer to smell them. And it sort of gives it that sort of prestige side to it, where somebody's walking by and you get a little whiff, because it gives you a side kind of a moderate scent bubble. Where it's, you know, quite moderate scent bubble around you, and I could smell this on me, still smell this on me. I've had this on for 3 hours now, but it's not beastly by any stretch of the imagination, but it's enough for people in close proximity to get a whiff of it and actually really like the smell. Really impressed with this one, and I'm just really pleased that I bought it. Still smell it on my skin, and I've had it on for 4 hours, so it's going well. It's a steady performance. So if you're one of these people that likes to be smelled by everybody in the room, it's not going to be for you. If you want something that's in the same ballpark as Spice Bomb, but more grown up, more refined and extremely classy, it's going to be for you. If you were thinking that it's kind of a similar fragrance to tobacco vanille, I would say not quite. The vanilla in there, you can get a touch of vanilla, and it's a really sweet, delicate vanilla, but it's not a prominent note. So if you like the aspect of tobacco vanille, because you've got those two notes really banging the drum, you're not going to really get that with this fragrance, and I don't really get those comparisons. I'd say it's more of a spicier dried fruit fragrance in the vein of Spice Bomb, maybe a touch of Pure Havana by Mugler, but fantastic and just beautiful, and just love the line on the top. So yeah, really pleased that I've got it in my collection. Let me know if you've experienced any of the Penhaligon's portrait collection and what you think. Which one should I be heading for next and trying to add to my collection next? And I'll be interested to hear your thoughts. I'll be interested to hear your thoughts on Roaring Radcliff, what you think of the fragrance. My only disappointment is that it doesn't project a little bit more. That's my only disappointment, but it's given me another sort of feeling about fragrances and experiencing fragrances that don't project as much, but I've really enjoyed wearing it, and it's one where I keep sniffing my wrist all day. And yeah, that's my final sort of conclusion on it. And I'll say to anybody as well, the price is quite hefty. If you can, do what I did, and that's buy a partial of the bottle, like I did. I bought 30 mils, and that's more than enough to enjoy the fragrance and experience it. And now I've got the bottle in my collection. A bit disappointed that the sticker is starting to peel off, so I might super glue that on because I don't want that coming off. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Roaring Radcliff. Let me know what your thoughts are on the fragrance. Thank you for spending the time to listen to my review today, and I'll speak to you all very soon.